Find the difference by hand, then use a calculator to check your work. So when we see that we're looking for the difference, we know that we're going to be working with a subtraction problem, and we want to work with the idea that the book has given us, that in order to do subtraction, we're going to build on the ideas that we had from the last section. Instead of subtracting, we're going to think add the opposite. Okay. So let me just make a note of that so we kind of remember what we're doing here. Sorry about the handwriting. So in our first problem, 7 minus 10, instead of thinking subtracting, we're going to think add the opposite of whatever it was that was being subtracted. So my first number is going to stay the same. The 7 is just going to stay the 7. But now instead of subtracting, I'm going to change subtraction to addition. And in order, I can't just make 7 minus 10 into 7 plus 10. That wouldn't make any sense. In order to make up for the fact that I changed subtraction to addition, I'm going to add the opposite of what I was subtracting. And the opposite of 10 is negative 10. So now we can use what we know from the last section, that if I'm adding two numbers that have different signs, I need their difference. So 7 plus negative 10, the difference between 7 and 10 is 3. And I keep the sign of the number with the larger absolute value with it, which in this case is 10. So the negative 10 has a larger absolute value, so my final answer will be negative 3. In my next problem, negative 5 minus 4, well, the first number again stays the same, negative 5. And then instead of subtracting, I'm going to think add the opposite. So we're going to add the opposite of 4 is negative 4. Negative 5 plus negative 4, well, now the signs are the same, so I take the sum and keep the sign. So I add the 5 and the 4 together is 9, and I keep the sign, which is going to give me a negative 9 for my final answer. Now, I encourage you not to get too hung up with these rules. Think about money when you're working with these kinds of problems. If I have $7 and I'm being asked to pay $10, well, I'm going to be $3 short, right? And so that $3 short we could write by just writing the negative 3. In this other example, again, we can still think about money. If I'm in the hole $5, so I already owe $5, and now I'm being asked to pay another $4, well, I'm going to be now in the hole $9. I'm going to be owing $9. And to say that I owe $9, we can represent by saying it's negative 9. Now to check our work on a calculator, let me just pull the calculator over here. We want to just be careful of the difference between subtraction and the negative sign. So subtraction is over here. Here's my subtraction, and here's my negative. So if I want to do 7 minus 10, we're going to enter in 7 minus, we're going to use the subtraction sign here, 10, and when we enter that in, we'll get negative 3 for our solution. Now for our other problem, we were being asked to do negative 5 minus 4. So when I clear this out, when I enter negative 5, I need to use the negative sign, not the minus sign. So negative 5, and then we're going to subtract 4. So we have to really pay attention. Is this a negative sign that I'm dealing with, or is it the operation sign to subtract? So when we do negative 5 minus 4, and we enter that in, we get negative 9, which is what we knew our answer was from working it out by hand.